dated a lot of guys who are also put their problems on me because I'm like, give me all your problems.
Yeah, you're very open
I'm
like that.
You can come on my tits with your problems. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just, to use a weird sex metaphor. Like,
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hey, I'm MJ.
and I'm Bree.
Welcome to Keeping It Casual.
A sex-positive dating and relationship advice podcast.
Yes, I'm married with 2 kids.
And I'm navigating this crazy dating world.
We're just here to share our drama.
And the wild stories of our listeners.
Your Vegas girls are here for you.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, my goddess over here in black.
Oh, hello. Actually, my roommate's mom gave me this dress. I don't even think she knows she gave me this dress.
Yes.
It's mine.
That's hot.
Yeah.
No, it's perfect with your black witchy vibe, but
My whole motif. So, homeschool?
oh, well, it's getting better because I'm like leaning into this flow of things, and I'm like, all right, even though they don't have much of a flow yet, like I'm like, okay, I'm just trying to release. I'm letting Vivi do her thing. I have to let Logan watch a little TV.
Okay, so I've got questions, though. Like, PE, for example.
Oh my God.
What do they do in PE?
Don't get the moms started. It's an uproar. Some of the moms said they're doing tests. My mom said like my niece is like on the floor doing push-ups. My daughter is listening to like fuzzy videos that like choke on and off, and last time they were troubleshooting with the parents for like a half hour. Let me just say something to parents that are doing this with their children. Ask your questions to the teacher after class or before class or earlier, because when you do it while things are going on, it's a pain in the ass for the 5-year-olds trying to sit there still. So that's just my parent to parent, like, please wait till afterwards.
Can you be like, you know what, Vivian, don't listen to this. Let's do some yoga together during PE.
I've told her to turn it off. I said, we're going swimming. We're going to the park. We're going to ride bikes. Like, we're not going to sit here and do this bullshit. So
Okay.
it's sad, but you know, it's okay. I'm kind of leaning in, and I'm just like, you know, trying to make sure they're both taken care of. I can't just plop down the 2-year-old in front of the TV
So,
and stare at her. I'm just like, I'm going to
does she have music
back
class
up a
too,
little
or
bit.
is that not start till the
does.
first?
She has music on Mondays, and
Interesting.
they sing songs.
I was going to say, what do they do? Because, like, my cousin and his wife, they are both elementary school music teachers. And I was like, so obviously you're laid off until school's back in sesh, right? And they're like, no, we're doing it distantly. And I'm like, what, are you going to mail them recorders? Like, it's fucking elementary school music. Like,
no,
what the fuck?
they're just singing songs together.
Oh,
So it's, you know.
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to downplay it, but, like, it just sounds so stupid,
It
lame.
is, and it's the only options we have right now. So I've just accepted that. I'm one of the people that I try not to fight the things I can't control.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of that this year, but
Yes.
I'm more accepting of things. So this week I'm just kind of laying back. I'm like not trying to be such a super mom, and I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna
Let the chips fall where they may.
yeah, I'm gonna do my best to balance out with
Metaphorically
both
or
of them.
whatever?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it my best, and I'm gonna try to put my faith
Yeah.
in these teachers while they're wrangling our children in front of screens, and we're all trying our best here, I guess. So,
Yeah, we are.
Anyways, please tell me about your another fabulous getaway.
It wasn't really a getaway. So Rachel, Natalie, and Monique and I, we're all planning this like ghost adventure. We're like, we're gonna go up to Totapa and go to the Clown Motel. Right next to the Clown Motel is like a graveyard. So I have this fear of the Clown Motel because I'm afraid of clowns. I don't think I've ever talked about that on the podcast. Did you even know I was afraid of clowns?
No, I thought you loved all the weird, crazy, creepy,
no, clowns
scary
fucking
stuff.
terrify me. But we get into Totapa and it's like dinner time, and I was like, okay, well, there's the brewery, so let's go to the brewery. And like we're all in black.
Of course.
I was wearing like leggings and boots and like a top, but it was gonna be like 40 degrees out, so we're all in like pants and we have our leather. We did not plan to all bring black leather moto jackets. It's just
Hilarious.
what we all own.
Like the Ramones.
Basically, yeah. So we walk into the brewery and there's like 10 people in there, and everybody like starts staring at us. And I was like, it's like my cousin Vinny. It straight up was like when Joe Pesci and Marissa Tomei. Yeah, I'm like, I said Melissa. Sorry, Marissa
Still
Tomei.
So gorgeous.
I fucking love her.
Oh.
When Joe Pesci and Marissa Tomei like get into town and everybody just stares at them because they're in their like leathers, like that's what it looked like. And then so we're sitting down and we're like ordering beers and stuff, and she's like, oh, I don't have that. I don't have that. I don't have that. I don't have that. And Monique's like, can I have a root beer? And she's like, I don't have root beer. We're like, and then we were like, can we have some?
Tell us what you got right now. What you got?
Basically, that's how I felt. I was like,
Bud Light.
okay, what do you have as opposed to what you don't have? Because apparently, like, we ordered everything they didn't have.
Yeah.
And then we went to the Clown Motel. They allow you to like walk around like the lobby. There's a bunch of clown shit everywhere, clown stuff. And so I'm talking to the guy at the front desk, and I was like, so which room's the most haunted? He's like, oh, I'll take you guys in there. So we go. Now, mind you, as a rational person now, not a girl on having a fun time with her girlfriends, we were following a man into a hotel room. That's not safe, but whatever.
There was 4 of you in leather jackets. I'm not worried about any of you.
Yeah, that's true. We probably looked way more intimidating. But what if he brought us into a room? There were a bunch of dudes there to rob us or something. There's always
still not scared of any of you in your leather jackets.
It's true.
Not worried about you and your babe squad.
So we go and we're doing the ghost hunting app in there, and they're I pick up the word slip on the ghost hunting app, and Rachel's doing this thing where it detects energies, and I'm in the bathroom and the word slip comes up, and the energy, there's a really bad energy that comes up in the shower, and he told us somebody died in that motel room. So I'm wonder if they slipped and fell.
They have the whole apps and everything. You guys remind me of the Poltergeist movie where they came in with the little
basically that's what we were doing. So then we go to the graveyard, and at one grave there's a bunch of coins on it. Somebody asked oh, do we have to leave coins? I was yeah, you have to leave coins on it to pay the ferryman. The ferryman is you know in the Oingo Boingo song when he talks about silver dollar, shiny silver dollar on either right? That's paying the toll to the ferryman, because then he takes your soul to wherever your soul's supposed to go.
Dead Man's Party?
Yeah. Yeah, but that's what he's talking about. He's talking about the legend of the ferryman.
Wow.
So the ferryman, you have to pay the toll on the dead body or the coffin or whatever, so the ferryman will take your soul. Otherwise, the ferryman just leaves you in purgatory. And I was that's kind of fucked up.
I think we're going to have you break down a scary story on one of our specialty shows that's soon to come for Patreon
listeners. Oh. Yeah, I would love to tell spooky stories.
I think that's good.
Okay, so then as we're standing there talking about this, the word coin pops up on the ghost app, and I was yeah, I think we really need to leave some offerings. And then we're there's a coin shortage, sorry, you only get pennies.
Oh my god.
We're getting a lot of activity on the app, and really quick it says Hot Boy Satan. What? And we're that's the name of our band, Hot Boy Satan.
Obviously. Yes, I love that.
And then I was are you telling me that I dated Satan? And then it came up with the name of the guy I was hooking up last year, and it said his name and then the word yes. And I was I mean, I wouldn't consider him Satan, but sure, I guess. I thought that was really funny.
That's funny. Okay, so what app is this? Ghost hunting app?
Yes.
Can you do it around your house?
If you want to. It's called Ghost Detector.
You're just full of all these I love all the new apps Bree's throwing at us.
And then so then we went to the Mizpah Hotel, and we're just we meet with the night clerk guy, and oh hey, we're here to ghost hunt, and he was yeah, I could tell. I was you could smell it coming off of us when we walked through the front door, and he was yeah, basically. So he starts telling us about the ghosts in that hotel and whatever, and then I was oh okay, cool, can we go look around? And he's yeah, sure. And I was well, where can we look around? And he's you can't go in the basement, and you can't go into people's rooms unless they invite you in.
He's see you later, vampires.
Basically.
You're we already know that rule.
But you know what I mean? If I were to go into the Cosmopolitan and I was can I just walk around the hotel part? They'd be get the fuck out of here. You don't have a hotel key.
In case people don't know where Tonopah is, it's 5 hours?
3 hours.
3 hours north of Vegas on the way to Tahoe.
Yeah.
So that's what you get when you stop there.
And then we go back down to the lounge area, and there's this drunk lady there, and she's hey, I'm staying at the room where the lady in red supposedly is. You guys want to come up to my room? And we were yeah! Once again, following strange people into hotel rooms. Back downstairs again, and we were getting ready to leave, and there was a ghost hunting show being filmed there.
Of course there was.
And it's going to be on the Travel Channel. And the
spoiler!
The cameraman was hey, do you guys want to come into the basement with us? The basement was forbidden to us, and we were yes. So we signed all these waivers, and we're going to be on a show on the Travel Channel.
Excellent. We will make sure to
I'll let you guys know once it comes up. We're going to be in the pilot episode. They're filming the pilot right now. So
okay. Bree finally made it to her ghost hunting adventure Travel Channel show. This is all come full circle.
Oh my. All right. Well, on that
of course
note,
then I didn't want to go. I would have stuck out
if
immediately.
4 girls rolled up in all black and you were supposed to go on an adventure with them, you would have been I gotta change.
I'm what about my white sneaks? No, go change. I've been white sneaks, high-waisted jeans, probably a fur coat if you told me it was going to be 40. Yeah. I would have.
No, we were all in boots. I was in my Fabletics leggings.
Oh yes, those things
my
last.
Fabletics.
Those things go the distance.
Yes, they do. Well, and then on that note, we're transitioning to our topic today.
Yes. So, okay, we were talking about something about like, you know how when you have friends or maybe even a relationship and all of a sudden you become their therapist.
And it's like the way you have to set boundaries for being somebody's support versus their therapist.
Yes.
So have you noticed in any of your relationships that the support you offer a partner or friend goes a little too far and you are feeling more like their therapist? It can be detrimental to your relationship with this person if it's treated as if you are their therapist all the time or they are your therapist all the time.
Mm-hmm.
In the end, it can lead to resentment and even a little bit of strain on yours or their emotional health.
Yeah, and I think, it's definitely a crazy time. So I think more people are feeling depressed or feeling anxiety or just they're doing things like out of the character and it's really normal. So now all of a sudden you might find yourself in a relationship or even a friendship. You're like, holy shit, this is above my pay grade. I don't know how good of a friend I can be to somebody because I don't know if I can handle this without them. This is taking an emotional toll on me too, but you still want to support somebody, So what do you do when you find a loved one in this like dark negative space? You can't seem to help them cope. And then you feel like their negative mood is starting to like take its toll on you personally. So how do you continue to support them while also taking care of yourself?
So here are some things to consider when dealing with the situation with a friend or a partner. The little things help big.
Hell yeah. With depression, the day-to-day tasks can feel overwhelming. Laundry, grocery shopping, paying bills. It can make it hard to know where to start. So your friend may appreciate even the effort to help, but they also might not be able to clearly say what they need help with.
So instead of saying, let me know if there's anything I can do, consider saying, what do you need help with today? And that's actually a good business strategy as well. Just total side note. I was learned this in a business class. Like if you go to your manager and constantly say, well, what can I help with?
So much. We've got projects going on for months and stuff. So I like the way you said that. Just what do you most need help with today? Say you notice their refrigerator's empty. You can say like, can I take you grocery shopping or pick up what you need if you write me a list, or let's get some groceries and cook dinner together, know?
And if your friend is behind on dishes or laundry or other household chores, offer to come over, put some music on, tackle a specific task together. Simply having company can make them feel better. Yeah. And I mean, like, say with your partner, even if you're living with somebody and you see them like constantly just like, cooking constantly and I'm doing this and blah, 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 blah. Especially right now, like one partner might be working, one partner might not be working, and the working partner might be like, you know what? You're not working, so you should be handling dinner every night, and you should be handling this, and you should be doing all the laundry. But
they're home with school and all the craziness, and you're just like, I'm not just here chilling either.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
but
working
like
too.
Being at home is still a full-time job, and like especially if your partner is looking for work right now.
Yeah.
Take it from me, looking for a job is a full-time job.
Yeah, and it's mentally stressful on people too. So
set personal boundaries. Have you ever been on the phone with a friend who's going through it and you can't escape it? Before you know it, it's been hours and you're emotionally drained and you have no energy to do the things that you had planned for the day.
Oh, please.
All the
my
time.
God. So like when you begin to like dread a text or a chat from a friend or a phone call because you're having a great day, you got plans to keep that productivity, that positivity going. Maybe you got a new recipe you're going to do, or maybe you're going to work out when you get home. And you feel like if you talk to them, it's going to like totally detour you from all your plans, kind of just burn you out and distract you. Don't feel the need to like drop everything and be at their emotional beck and call.
And nobody says you have to call them back right away.
Right?
Just because they asked. You have priorities too, and you got to conquer small goals, big goals, whatever you got to conquer to make your life richer moving forward in a positive way. They don't come first. You come first. And I don't care how selfish that sounds. At the end of the day, we are our number ones.
You can't be there for somebody if you're not strong.
Exactly. And it's okay to shoot a message and say, I really want to catch up. How's later around whatever time? So at least it puts both your mind at ease. So they know you are a support system, but it's when you find space to be there for them. I had this issue actually where a friend was like, hey, you want to hang out? And I was like, oh, I've got this tomorrow. And they were like, are you blowing me off? And I was like, no, I'm not blowing you off. I'm just letting you know I have this tomorrow. Like,
yeah.
And they were like, well, that one thing, like there's so many other hours in the day. And I was like, well, in my head when I said that, it was like, let me figure out my timing. And this friend took it as me like trying to blow him off. And then that pissed me off. I was like, motherfucker, like, don't come at me like that.
Yeah. Just because we hung out last week doesn't mean like I have all all the time in the day to hang out. It's like, oh.
Or even if I haven't seen you in a long time, like,
Yeah.
still.
Yeah, I have somebody I haven't seen in a while, and we caught up, and it was great. And then it was like daily text, let me know when we can hang out again. It's like, sure, I'll get back to you. And then every week it's been like, want to go swimming, want to do this. And it's like, I'll let you know. Now I feel a little pressure, like, oh my God, we have to hang out. But there's other people in my life I have to make space for, and I have to, so it's not personal. It's just like we all have minimal time, and time is precious. You got to be mindful of your time.
Exactly.
One of the most precious things in life is your time. So if you feel like someone will go on and on and on in circles with no end in sight before you even call them, what you could do, you could set like a gentle reminder on your allotted time to chat, maybe even a little timer.
Remember, even a professional therapist, like I'm in therapy, it's usually an hour and 90 minutes max.
Yeah.
Protect your time.
It's like, that's all the time we have today.
Dude, I mean, I do an hour therapy session. I was going once a week. I've cut back because I don't think I need to go once a week right now, but still, like, and that's the thing is, like, I understand at the end of the day, like, depression, it's not like, oh, it's 9 a.m. on a Thursday, time to go be depressed with my therapist. Like, I know that's not how depression works, and sometimes you need to reach out to other people, but it is not up to you to be everybody's therapist.
Yeah.
That's the point of this episode.
Yeah.
Stop being everybody's therapist.
Exactly.
AKA Bree, stop being everybody's therapist.
Well, I remember even when we met and you were like, I like to distract myself from my problems and I will go head in on anyone else's. And we enjoy sharing, our feedback on, we get a lot of advice emails, or we get different feedbacks that are just kind of one-on-one DMs that we chat with people.
Yeah.
And it's nice to share that with people, but sometimes you have people in your life that it's just constant. And when it becomes somebody that's really close to you and you want to feel like, fuck, man, I just want to do everything I can to make you feel better, make you happy, and it's just not happening, and I don't know what I can do anymore. These are the kind of things that we're talking about. At the end of the day, remember, we all have friends we love and care about and want to help, but when it becomes too much to talk about, too much on us to like fix things, remember, it is not your job to do that. It's theirs. And even though it may take time for them to figure it out, it builds confidence and resilience in them when they can take the steps for themselves. So have confidence in them to do that.
Guys, we have a monster giveaway for you this month to feed your libido.
Courtesy of our sexy babes at Like a Kitten, women owned and operated who strive to mainstream masturbation.
They do this by supplying seasonal subscription boxes filled with sensual products and one motorized toy. And they just released their fall box, Back to Basics.
Yes, and they just launched their own line of sex toys, including the 3 vibrator set called the Pleasure Hunter.
It's one vibrator with 3 different attachments. The classic rabbit, delivering stimulation to both the clit and the G-spot.
And the twin tip, which is used for clitoral or nipple stimulation.
Or what you can do, those with partners who have penises, you take it down to the tip of the penis while giving a blowjob. And just let it vibrate right there between the penis and the balls.
Yes. And of course, the anal beads for, And don't be intimidated. This will for sure open some new pleasure vibes for you and your partner. It's hubby approved.
Keepers, we are giving away one for free this month. If you want in, go to Apple Podcasts, search us, rate us, and review to enter.
That's right. Announcing the winner September 30th. And once you enter, you're in until you win.
And don't forget to swing by likeakitten.com and use code KEEPERS20 at checkout for 20% off. Now back to the show. Yeah, your number one job is to be a great listener and let them know that you value their emotions. But it's important to protect your emotional strength, too, and not get caught up on saving someone. Bree. Me, yes. I know this. I fucking know this. Like MJ said earlier, I will take on other people's problems to not deal with my own. But guess what COVID has done? It's made me be like, bitch, realize your problems. Stop worrying about everybody else.
Yeah. Let's be still with ourselves for a minute and be like, what do I need to work on?
Exactly. And you know what? I had a conversation with somebody who I've actually, a toxic person I've let go, which we'll get into.
Talk about that.
Yeah. We were having a conversation and I said something like, it's not my job to be my partner's therapist. Because it's not.
Right.
And this person said to me, isn't it the girlfriend's job? And I said, no. No. And I said, you're going to have a lot of very unhealthy and unsuccessful relationships if you think every girlfriend you have is supposed to be your therapist.
Hell no. And you know what? It ain't sexy. Like, we have to
No.
see our partners at our worst. And
Yeah.
you want to have somebody to be there for you when you need them. You know they are your security. Like, I mean, if I'm going through it, I'm going to lay it down on Chris.
Yeah.
Am I going to continue to do that daily?
No.
Maybe for a few days. I don't know. Depends on what might snap out of my mood. But I'm going to acknowledge that to myself and be like,
Yeah.
I can't just keep laying all this shit on him every day. I
Yeah,
can't just be a
exactly.
miserable fuck around him. Like, I need to either remove myself when I'm
Yeah.
in that kind of mood, or I need to just not share that, or I'm going to call Bree and bitch to her.
Yeah.
And then if it's too much, spread those problems around just a little bit. But when you
Yeah.
just realize all you're giving to people is negativity and all that energy, and you're not finding a way, like, obviously people are giving you a little bit of feedback. If you
Yeah.
can't take any of that or find any value in that, it's time to seek professional.
Yeah. It really is. And you know what? There's like, if you're worried about, oh, I don't want to go to a therapist office right now because of everything going on in the world.
Yeah.
There are so many online things you can do. There's one called BetterHelp. That's like $75 a session. But most therapists are doing things virtually right now anyway.
Yeah.
So just kind of like look at your benefits. If you don't have benefits, just, look at BetterHelp. If you can't afford it, I'm sorry. But some therapists do pro bono. I have a friend who's going to a therapist who's not charging her, period.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
That's
you just,
awesome.
like, you just got to reach out. And I've actually heard local colleges have a lot of free resources for therapy.
Okay. And you know what, too? We are here for you. Slide into the DMs. Feedback at keepingitcasualpodcast.com. That's our email. If you want to talk about something, like, we're here to listen. If you burned your friends out, we got you, okay?
Yeah, for sure. Just don't be like, Bree, fix my life, because that is my toxic trait. It really is.
It's not toxic. It might be something that personally that you're like, I need to be more mindful of this,
Yeah.
so I'm not just sabotaging my mental health and my time.
Yeah.
But, that's kind of what we wanted to bring up today. So something Bree and I learned, I actually learned it on that little communication app I
Yeah.
shared last week, was there's kind of a technique when somebody's venting you about something, and maybe it's somebody else, and you're kind of playing devil's advocate because you want them to see the perspective of the other side. They're like
Yeah.
saying, oh, well, you know what? So-and-so's been being really bitchy because of this. And I don't know what's her problem. And you're just like sitting there and you're listening, and you're like, well, she has been going through this and maybe that. And you're kind of like trying to show them something from another perspective, but they feel hurt and betrayed by this person. So in the moment, they're just looking at you like you're siding with the enemy.
Yeah.
It's not good. I learned.
But
More in negotiations with children. That's kind of where I learned that trait. But
yeah.
I mean, children, adults, we all have feelings.
See, and I'll say this from the opposite side. If I come to you and say, like, oh my God, this person's being kind of a dick to me.
Yeah.
If I'm
I'd be like, fuck them.
well, see, but usually if I'm going to a friend with that, it's like, because I need somebody to be like, well, maybe on that maybe like they're feeling this way. That's why I will do, especially if it's a relationship thing. Because I'm pretty tight-lipped about like my relationship problems.
No,
till
that's good.
Yeah. And if I come to you and I'm like, dude, homeboy's drag racing, and I don't like the drag racing, and how do I stop the drag
We're
racing?
podcasting, sir.
Well, I'm using this as an example now.
Go stunt on another day. Yeah.
Yeah. But like, all they're doing is drag racing.
Yeah, all day long, and I'm like, but you know what? They've got to keep their energy alive, and they
I'm
just
like,
want to
they're
feel
not
cool.
they're not fucking me. They're just drag racing all day. And you're like, well, maybe that's what's making them happy right now. I'd be like, you know what? You're right. Maybe that is what's making them happy right now. I want to hear the devil's advocacy.
That's how I always am. But I realized also there's a point to where like you want to jump in and make somebody feel better, but
Yeah.
also there's like just listening and being patient and just kind of before you say, yeah, she is a bitch, fuck her. You just kind of want to validate how your person's feeling.
Yeah.
Well, that is frustrating. I'm sorry you feel like that.
Yeah.
Is there anything I can do? Validating feelings versus the other
Yeah,
person's shitty personality.
I see what you're saying. Like, validate their feelings and be like, I'm so sorry that's happening to you. What can I do? Well, what do you think she's thinking? Boom.
There.
Then you can play devil's advocate.
I like that.
Yeah.
And then you're giving them problem solving strategies. So,
Yeah.
and I think that's really important because sometimes we feel like when a person leans on us a lot for advice and support, we're like, oh my God, they're never going to live their life unless they get all the advice and support from me. You know?
I've been in those situations many a times with friends and with romantic partners. And it's like, you get to the point where it's like, well, what about me? And I did this with my ex-boyfriend where like everything was always his problems. Not everything, but like when it came down to problems, it was always his problems.
And you felt like you had to fix them all the time.
And I did. But when I had problems, then there was a problem in the relationship. Because as soon as I started like, not even like problems with the relationship. Just like, oh my God, I had this terrible day. Da, 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 da. Oh yeah, that sucks. But you know what? You want to know what happened in my day? Let me tell you about how my day was 10 times worse. So that.
That's a toxic relationship trait to be aware of.
Yes,
too.
it is.
I've dealt with friends like that, and that's why I was like, see you later. See you never. Over
and you know what? It's okay to pause on those type of friendships. Pause can be enough to spark some needed changes.
Yeah.
Maybe you have been so fucking supportive, you become a crutch to their healing, and they lean on you so much and forgot that they have the power to create change and solve life's problems on their fucking own.
Oh, and
Good
so
Lord.
did you. Or maybe with professional help or medication.
Yeah, whatever. You have become their go-to. They need moments where you are not available, and they can learn to build some stress relief skills on their own.
I know. Sometimes, you ever been in that thing where you like, you just get into this phase where you like always like, oh, I'm going to call somebody. Like, I feel like in my younger single days, you know, that was just like, oh, I don't like this feeling of calling somebody. I just want to get rid of this feeling right away. And like, fuck, they didn't answer. So what do? Maybe I'll just go for a run, or maybe I'll just do some yoga. And then all of a sudden you're like, I'm getting myself out of my head. But when you are always there for that person and you're always picking up for them, you're like, oh God, what is it today? They're used to that.
Yeah.
They're not practicing anything else because they've been leaning on you so much, and you've been such a good friend. What was that like in Mean Girls? She's like, because I'm such a good friend.
It's
like,
told
but you're
anybody
not.
I'm such a good friend.
You just told everybody. Like, it's just like you're not benefiting them.
You're not benefiting them.
You're killing your mental.
You're killing your own
out.
mental stress, but also all you're doing is feeding the I want to say addiction, but that's not what it is. You know, it's like it's something I learned in codependency. Actually, I hate to compare this to addiction, but you know, some people are addicted to fucking drama.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So I mean, the codependent will be like, well, you know, it's just one drink. They're not going to be a total alcoholic all the time. What's one drink going to be? Oh, it's just one little problem, which leads to their entire life's problems. So don't be a healer or a fixer or a codependent.
No, I think the biggest,
easier said than done.
Yeah, I think the biggest point of this is like, we have friends and family and partners and all kinds of stuff, and everybody's going through weird shit right now, and people are changing, and sometimes it's not for the better, but also I think we're all going through all of this weird stuff for the first time. So we have to protect our own mental sanity. So if somebody is dragging you down, protect yourself and have some boundaries, but also, worst case scenario, maybe time to let that toxic friend go.
You know, I have noticed myself over these past months that all this is happening is I am getting so much more like fed up with people's bullshit a lot quicker, because I don't have to see you right now. I don't have to work with you. I don't have to hang out with you. I probably can't hang out with you anyway. Like, it's just one of those things where it's like, if something's bothering me, I am quick to be like, boom, you suck for saying that. Which normally in the past I would take things internally and be like, well, did that bother me that much? Is that worth to talk about? Blah, 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 blah. But I have let go a lot of toxic people this year.
Yeah.
I'm just like, cut. Bye.
Yeah.
I had somebody say something really fucking shitty to me, and I was like, you know what? I'm done with this friendship.
Yeah. Oh, I totally hear that. There's little things, but here's the thing. The unfortunate truth is that you may realize at this point, any value they had in the past, it's kind of disappeared, and it's just the way life goes. Just as you're changing for the better, like some people are changing for the worse.
Yep.
Whatever the reason, if a person brings nothing to value to your life other than negativity, it might be time to let them go.
And not only that, but like maybe
Peace out.
Peace. Maybe they aren't changing for the worse. Maybe this is who they've always been, but you're learning, like, I can't deal with it anymore.
Yeah, and it's okay. And that's when you begin with that pause, and then you might just fade away. But sometimes you gotta just be like, I can't
help you. I did this with a very, very good friend of mine. We're still very good friends, but like, I lost my job and this person was not there for me, and I needed people there for me. And I mean, yes, they were dealing with their own depression, but like, I had been there for this person constantly. And then they messaged me like, oh my God, I'm so nervous. I'm going on a date. I need advice. And I was like, you know, I can't give you any advice right now. You've been a really shitty friend to me. And ever since I said that, everything's been great. You point out the problem? Who would have thought?
Well, and when you really love them and you really appreciate them, it's okay to be like, bitch, I'm not feeling this right now. Like, where were you when I went through the hardest time of my life this year? I don't feel like walking you through your date tonight.
Yeah.
Like, I need help like I needed you to answer the phone when I called and not be busy. And, you know, there's a balance in all relationships.
Yeah.
And when you feel like it's off and you're giving too much, then ease back.
Give a little less.
Yeah. It's okay. You know, a little bit of game playing, but we got to protect our emotional sanity, especially at this time.
Yes.
And we can't save all of our people getting crazy right now because everybody's going a little mad right now.
We're all a little mad sometimes. Norman Bates. Sometimes, you know, it's okay to call out people being toxic to you.
Mm-hmm.
It might end the relationship, or it might change it for the better, or you guys just might back off of each other.
Yeah.
I had a situation with a friend where she said something really shitty, not towards me, but it was something that really fucking hurt my feelings. And when I called her out on it, she decided she was going to back off of the friendship because in her mind, she was mad at me for saying something to her, even though she said the original shitty thing.
Yeah, some people don't like being confronted or they don't see their fault. And it's, you know, sometimes people don't always agree on those things.
Yeah.
But if you value somebody's friendship, I mean, fuck, look, I'm married, you know? It's like, he doesn't like something I'm doing, he's going to call me out on it.
Yeah.
I don't like something, I'm going to call him out on it. It's like, like it or not, I'm not going to deal with this. So here's the problem.
What's so funny is
we don't always agree on it's a problem.
Yeah. What's so funny is like we're prepping this episode. We're talking to Chris, and she goes, "Chris, who do you talk to when you have problems?" He goes, "I don't have problems." We're like, "Oh, must be nice to live your life."
This boy is a trap door. Chris is not a very verbal communicator. He's more of an emotional communicator. I know when my man's
when there's something wrong, but like
I do.
He's not a verbal guy. So she was like, "Well, do you talk to?" You know, she's naming off some of his best friends. He's like, "Do you ever see me call them?" And she goes, "No, not really."
He like made it fun. He's like, "Do I not call him and be like, hey man, I really need to hash this out. Are you around to talk?" I was like,
he did say it that way.
Like, shut up. I fucking love good deep conversations.
Yeah,
you know, this is so healing and fun.
Opposites attract.
It does. Find a balance. You know,
I'm more emotionally like Chris. I mean, I'll talk it out sometimes, but like if I'm really upset, like
nobody knows.
I gotta process for a second.
Yeah,
and then I'll snap. Yeah. And when I snap, then you know, like, oh my God, it's gone really far with Bree. Something has happened. But yeah, so I'm an emotional processor, and then if I say something, then have I decided like, okay, I need to say something.
Yes, yeah.
I don't think, and I've dated a lot of guys who are more emotionally like Chris, but also put their problems on me because I'm like, give me all your problems.
Yeah, you're very open like that.
You can come on my tits with your problems. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, to use a weird sex metaphor. Like,
I loved it though. It was, well, I think that's what you have, this genuine nature of like, this is why you're just so lovable. You're so open. You're so easy to communicate with. You're just so easy to talk to. I mean, I had something the other day and I was reading something. It was like, who do you lean on a lot emotionally? And I was thinking like, fuck man, probably Bree. Like when I really got something I want to talk about, like I kind of run it past her, but I'm not burying her in my shit every week.
No,
you know? And that's the kind of person and relationship we're talking about today, because people can tend to do this, and if they're worth it,
to the point where you're like, when you see that person's texting you, you're like, oh God, do I want to even read it?
Dude, I had this happen the other night and I was like, oh, I'm not answering that right now. I don't have time for that. And then they Facebook called me and I was like, I'm not. Now I was like, oh God, is it urgent? And then I'm like, but I still can't. I can't answer it right now. I know it's bubble bath time. No, I can't get caught up in somebody's bullshit when I have immediate priorities right now. So I did make time to call them back and chat with them. But I also made myself aware of what time it was. Yeah. Because I was like, I'm not getting sucked into hours and rando. I have to like be wary of the clock and be when that time comes and be like, okay, well, I have things going on. And that's always been hard for me to like set that boundary with friends, because I just want to go all in. Yeah. You know, but I want to be there for them. But I also know that like that's come with getting older, just being like, I have to pull back.
Mine's come with lots of therapy to be like, bitch, like, seriously, like, this is something my therapist and I have talked about for a very long time, where it's like, okay, but why do other people come to you with all their problems? And I'm like, because I allow them to. Why aren't you setting boundaries? Because I feel bad. Well, why do you feel bad? Because I can help them.
Yeah.
I actually did have a psychic tell me once that I was a healer in a past life, and I do kind of like feel like
I believe it.
I believe that one.
Well, here's the thing, Bree. You're not. I think all of that is good.
Yeah.
And all of that is fine.
Yeah.
But it is setting a little bit of boundary for yourself and your emotional health. You
know what's great?
It's what it
I
is.
realized setting boundaries is one of the most amazing things ever.
It's a new thing.
It's a new thing.
Lean in, guys. We're all setting boundaries.
So my savage year was 2020, and I am setting all the boundaries, and I've been doing it.
Yes. If 2020 could name themselves, they would call it savage.
Oh, God.
2020 was like, this year, I'm fucking savage.
And that's what I did. Anyway,
God.
moral of the story, everybody, is set boundaries, put yourself first, and you're not being selfish for putting yourself first.
No, love your friends and, help
Show
them
respect.
get through this.
Don't be that person that's constantly like, everything's wrong in my life.
Don't be that guy. We're here for you. Once you've slid into everybody's DMs and they won't answer your calls anymore, you can slide into ours, okay? So that's just a realization to have.
Yes, it is. All right. Until next time.
Bye. Oh, good times. We hope you related.
If so, let us feature you. Email us at feedback@keepingitcasualpodcast.com or show you're a keeper on Facebook. Like the Keeping It Casual page and join the group.
Yes, bonus. If you rate and review on Apple Podcasts, you get into our monthly Keeping It Casual swag giveaway. It's the last Wednesday of every month.
More hookups when you share us on your Instagram stories at Keeping It Casual Podcast.
That's right. Find me anywhere socially at MJ Radio Diva.
And I'm everywhere at Bree Mixed, BreeMixed.
Keep it casual.
Bye.